Hi, this is Amy Prendergast again. In this video, we're going to find out how to search OneSearch to find ebooks and journal articles. And we'll also find some print books too from our catalog, and we'll sort of see how that might be useful too, even though we've already searched South Cap. So remember our trial search, or at least my trial search, is Quakers in the colonial period. So I'm going to use the initial keywords and do Quaker and asterisk and colonial. And you'll notice that I used an asterisk here. Remember in the catalog I used the question mark. This uses a different truncation symbol or wildcard. It uses the asterisk, but it serves the same purpose. It pulls up any record with any form of the root word Quaker, and plus the word colonial. So it assumes an and here too. So let's click search and see what we get. And now we have 967 results, which is quite a lot, so we probably want to work with that a little and see what we can do to limit it down and make it more focused to what we want to find. So, but remember, the first thing you always do with a set of results is sort of have a look down and see what you're getting, and maybe get some links to some subject headings and other material. So see, we're finding here some books from the catalog and some journal articles and some ebooks, but we want to limit those still further, or develop our search a little and maybe use some of the keywords we found when we were searching the catalog. So to do that, I'm going to use advanced search, and we're going to move our keywords around a little bit. So we're going to take colonial out of this first box and put it into this second box. And that's the big advantage of using advanced search, because you can gives you lots more options for combining your terms. So with Quaker, we're going to add the term or Society of Friends. And remember, we found Society of Friends as a subject heading in the catalog. And spelling counts. And remember, we put the quotation marks around it to make it search as a phrase, so it'll only find the records that have the term Society of Friends, like you see there. And then in the next box, we're going to put colonial again. And remember, we're going to use that other term we found, which was 18th century. So, and remember, we're also going to search that as a phrase, so we put quotation marks around that too. So we're going to find any record that has some form of the word Quaker and either colonial or 18th century, or the phrase Society of Friends and colonial or 18th century. So let's click search and see what we get. Okay, now we have 1,187, which is more than the 900 some we have, but it's sort of expanded our search, and hopefully we'll pull up as many of these terms, these combinations of terms as possible. So now we do want to start narrowing it down a little. So on this first page, we find some books, which some of those look useful. But say we're more interested in finding at this point journal articles. So let's limit it to our scholarly peer-reviewed journals, and you can do that just by clicking this little box here. Okay, and now that's limited down by half, just about 557. So there's other ways you can limit still further if you wanted to. I do instruction for technology and science subjects too, and recency is quite important to those. So if that was important to you, you could use the date slider here to change the date. If you were finding a lot of reviews, let's look down a little bit. Like here's a review. If you wanted to find fewer reviews and more subject or research articles, you could eliminate the reviews by just clicking on academic journals, and it'll get rid of all the ones that are labeled reviews. That's not foolproof. Sometimes the review articles are not the articles that are reviews are not always labeled as such, but it's a start. It'll get rid of some of them anyway. So okay, now that we have our list of results, we probably want to go down and look at some of them, or we can limit it still further if we wanted to do that. We can say we were interested in the early roots of the anti-slavery or abolition movement in the Quakers. So we can add those terms in here. So let's say anti-slavery or abolition or slavery. And remember, by putting it ors in between, we're broadening the search, so we're finding any of these records, any records with one of these terms and one of these terms and one of these terms. So it'll limit it down a little bit. See, or by getting the reviews, we limit it down to 400. So let's see what we get with adding this term. Okay, now that we're down to 49, so that's limited a lot. Okay, once you have a list of records that you're reasonably happy with, you want to look down and see which ones you actually want to make a note of. And before we do that, I'm going to log into our proxy server. And since I'm off campus, you see this yellow bar at the top of the page. So we're going to say click there to log in for full access, and put in my username, which is my J number, and my password. And this will log me into the proxy server. And from here on, I can search pretty much like I was on campus, at least until it times me out. But let's see. Okay, so as you go down, you can add things. You can keep track of things you like by adding them to folders. So say you like this one, you might add that to a folder. And you see it turns it gold and puts something in it. And if you look up at the top here, this icon is now open with something in the folder. And let's say we like that one too. Okay, and note this one. Note there are several items from the JSTOR database. So remember, one of the things we can use JSTOR for, since it searches a bunch of different databases, is to find specific databases that seem like they have a lot of information in them on your topic. So even though you're finding the items here, it's still worthwhile to search the individual database, because different databases use different algorithms, and you might find different items that you wouldn't find. You might find items in one that you would not find by searching that same database with a different search engine. So okay, so we found a few here, and let's add that one too. Okay, so we've added a few items to our folder. So we're going to look at the folder. And you can work with the results in your folder in a couple of different ways. First I want to say that this is a dynamic folder. That means it'll go away. The things that are in the folder will be out of the folders as soon as you click away and go somewhere else. You can make permanent folders. The way you do that is to sign in. You can, into your personal account. If you don't have a personal account yet, you can get one by clicking on that sign in link, and then down here you can click create one now to create your account. And once you do that, you can add stuff to a permanent folder. You can also have more than one folder. If you're working on projects for several different classes, you could have a folder for each project and add things into the individual folders. Okay. Now, once you have some things in a folder and you want to work with those items, you can first you want to select the ones you want. If we want all of these, we can just click select all, and then you can email them to yourself if you happen to be working at a computer where you can't download to the hard drive, or you don't have a flash drive or something like that with you. You can email the results to yourself. When you do that, when you see something that has this PDF full text, that will come as a link to your email. If you see one, sometimes you'll see one that says HTML full text. When you see that, that will come as part of the text of the email. When you see one like this, it's in a different database. Unfortunately, you won't get the full text for like that at all in your email, because it goes to a different database, but you'll still have the information to find the item. Okay, so and of course you can always link to the full text from the JSTOR, from the OneSearch database. Okay, so another neat thing you can do with your folder results is to click Save. And then you can save them. If you just use the default for saving, it puts them in what it calls the standard field format, and that'll look pretty much like that list of results we had. You can also choose the citation format, and that way it'll let you choose what citation format you want to use. And so if you want to use Chicago, we could do that. And then click Save. And then it will show you the search history, and this can be useful so you can see how many results you got with each of your sets of search terms. And it will give you a neat little bibliography with your articles that you saved in Chicago format. And it will also give you the what OneSearch calls or EBSCO calls the permalink. That's a permanent link to your article. That you can go back and find that item again. Okay, and they're down here too. So, and you probably want to be a little careful with this. You might not want to just without checking, copy and paste that into your bibliography. Just want to give it a brief once over at least, using your manual, your Chicago or Turabian manual if you have one. Okay, so let's go back. And back. And like with OneSearch, as with all our databases, you strongly recommend that you you look at the results and pull out subject headings or search terms that may be useful for you. This gives you some subjects, and here's some more subjects. Get ideas for your search to your keywords and your synonyms and your related terms to more focus your search, broaden it out, narrow it down, work with it any way you can to find what you're looking for. And remember to, when you're looking in OneSearch, also keep an eye out for a database that lots of articles that look good show up in, and then you might want to do a specific search in that database, which we are going to do in the next video. Since we're finding a lot of articles in JSTOR, we're going to look in JSTOR. So any of these things that I'm showing you, I welcome questions by email, and we'll have more information about how you can do that later on. So let's go back up to our home page, and the next time we talk, we'll be talking about JSTOR.